Okay. Yeah, so as Eileen has said, my name is Eric Langi. I'm the CEO of the Water Okelo Mentorship Program. And in a nutshell, the Water Okelo Mentorship Program was founded by Honorable Walter Okelo. Currently, he is the Chief Officer for Governance, Administration, and ICT in the County Government of Siaya. And he has been in the public service and leadership for over 10 years. And a lot of young people mostly have always been coming to him requesting for help, the different kinds of help. So of course he used to give help, but that was actually not sustainable. So that is how he came up with this program and reached out to other young people, me included, just to help him come up with this program. And basically the program is just to bring in a generation of young leaders. And when we say a leader, we mean somebody, a young person who inspires, influences, and thrives in whichever space that they are in. Yeah, they not necessarily have to hold a leadership position, but whichever space they are in, it could be in entrepreneurship, it could be in employment, or even in education. Yeah, as long as they are thriving in that space, as long as they're inspiring and also creating some meaningful change, that is the kind of person that we want to bring in. And we are doing it through 3 pillars of our mentorship program. One of them is called Awakening, and here we're just raising the consciousness of these young persons so that they are able to be conscious about themselves and also their surrounding. Yeah, we believe that an awakened young person is that person who is self-aware about themselves. They exactly know where they are and where they want to be. And we do it through various activities. Actually, one of them is such kind of webinars that we are having, so that then as a young person, we equip you with the necessary skills for you to grasp the opportunities that are set there. Yeah. Then once we feel that you are opportunity ready, we take you to the second pillar, which is connecting. And here we connect you to different opportunities, and the opportunities could be in employment, in business. They could be scholarship, entrepreneurship opportunities, or any other opportunity that we feel is beneficial to you as a young person. Yeah. Then of course, once we've got those opportunities, we want you to thrive. And for you to thrive, we ensure that we attach you to a mentor. A mentor here is somebody who's been in that space that you are really interested in. He or she has been there longer, and definitely they can hold your hand, take you through the challenges, of course, the opportunities, so that you just thrive in that space. Yeah. So those are the 3 ways in which we are creating these leaders. And majorly we work with tertiary institutions, that is universities and colleges. That is where we do most of our programs. And actually, most of the people who are actually attending these sessions are amongst our beneficiaries. Yeah, so that is it in a nutshell, and I want to officially welcome you to this session. As you're aware, they always say that most opportunities are never advertised. Yeah, but people get them. Yeah, so probably it could be a job opportunity, or a funding opportunity, or an entrepreneurship opportunity. You'll just realize that somebody has already grasped that opportunity, and you wonder how. Yeah, so one way of getting those opportunities through having a brand and also networking. Yeah, people need to know that you exist. This is what you can offer, so that when an opportunity arises, you are the go-to person. You'll always be in their mind. Yeah, and there's nobody who is very good to take us through this other than Dorothy Dottie Liech. Yeah, so mine is just to welcome you, and yes, that is it. Eileen.
All right. Thank you so much, Eric, for that comprehensive overview of what one does. And I believe right now everyone has an understanding of why we are here, and the mission and the vision and the reason as to why we are doing what you're doing and even holding this webinar. So, as I said, our speaker is here already with us, and we are just not we're not just bringing you anyone when it comes to this mentorship, when it comes to the insights that we share. We are bringing you a very an expert who has been in the field for quite a number of years. And just allow me to go through Dottie's bio, and I know she'll be able to just she'll be able to talk about herself more as she continues. So Dorothy Liech is a seasoned professional with extensive experience in fundraising, partnership, and corporate communication in Africa. Currently serving as the continental head of fundraising and partnerships at CBW Africa, Dottie plays a pivotal role in driving initiatives and, and enhance the organization's mission across the continent. She also heads the trade department for the Kenyan chapter at CBW Africa, where she focuses on fostering economic growth and facilitating trade relations. Dottie holds the position of Regional Director for Africa and Head of Corporate Communications at the Nordic Global Investment Foundation in Denmark. In this role, she manages strategic communications and is instrumental in establishing partnerships that deliver significant impact across various sectors in the region. In addition to her corporate endeavors, Dottie, a Mandela and Yali Fellow, is a skilled political economist and advisor with a concentrate on African political economy, providing insights that bridge the gap between economic policy and practical implementation. Her expertise is sought after in various forums where she advocates for effective policies and promotes sustainable development. To continue, Dottie is also a proud corporate member of Women in Business in Kenya, where she champions gender equality and women empowerment in the business arena. Her commitment to uplifting women leaders and creating inclusive economic opportunity reflects her dedication to fostering a better future for all. She is the pioneer of setting up the Governors Wives Association of Kenya, as well as putting together and launching their first 10 years strategic plan. Dorothy Liech, karibu sana, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Eileen. It actually sounds very surreal when you hear people talk about you. I'm very honored. Thank you very much, CEO Eric Langi, my very good friend for years, and now the CEO of Walter Okello Mentorship Program. Pick the people who are unmuted. Okay. And of course, my also very good friend, Honorable Walter Okello, who is the pioneer of this particular mentorship program. And I'm very appreciative of all of you to consider me to come in to discuss this topic. Though I'm not an expert in branding per se, but I'm a communications expert. And through my communications expertise, I have landed the few roles that have been mentioned, and I'm still growing in my career to be even better and to actually finally reach the level that I would like to be in the next few years. So for that reason, Eric felt I was best suited to talk about some of these topics, or at least to give an insight on what I think should be our networking and branding strategy to enhance our careers in every area that we are in. And just to start off, I'll say, what is a brand? And I'll give a small overview and an even smaller overview of everything that we intend to talk about. And hopefully we can have a more interactive session. I'm not very good at being teacher, so I don't want to sit here and bore you with long speeches, but I'd like to be in a position where we can interact and get to speak more about the topics, the relevant issues that affect us in our everyday lives when it comes to these two sectors of corporate climbing, and see how best we can tackle them. So what is a brand? A brand is the thing people say in the room when you're not around. That's simply it. Who are you? What are you? What do you represent? That is what a brand is. And what is networking? It is a process of building and nurturing relationships with individuals who can provide support, advice, opportunities, or valuable connections in both your personal and professional life. It's very simple as that. But of course, there are things we have to incorporate to ensure that we are in the right brand or within the correct network to ensure that we climb in our professional day-to-day ladder. All of us are in different fields. And for that reason alone, we don't have one textbook method as to how best to achieve these two sectors. But what we have is an overview that we can tailor make to work for each one of us in our day-to-day livelihoods. So I'll just begin by giving a little speech, or rather something little that I wrote or put together. I'll read it out, so I'll not probably focus on you, but I will focus on the page so that I can just read it out quickly, and then maybe we can discuss from this point. So good evening, everyone. In today's competitive world, talent alone isn't enough. The most successful professionals aren't just skilled, they're known for something. They have built a personal brand that sets them apart and a network that opens doors to new opportunities. Think about it. When someone in your industry is looking for an expert, do they think of you? That's a very important question to ask. If not, then it's time to take control of your brand and relationships. Because in the modern workplace, your success isn't just about what you know. It's about who knows you and what they associate with your name. Today, we'll dive into the power of personal branding and networking, explore how to position ourselves as an expert, and learn to build meaningful connections that accelerate our careers. So I'll begin with part one, which is mastering personal branding. For you to master personal branding, as I said, what is the thing people say in the room when you're not around? Who are you? What are you representing? This is very key. So define your niche and unique value. A strong personal brand starts with clarity. You cannot be all things to all people, and you shouldn't try to be. I tried it, it doesn't work. Trust me, you cannot be. You can only be the best brand, can only focus on specialized areas that you are perfect at, or at least believe you can do very well at. Ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? What skills or expertise set me apart? What problems do I solve better than others? Find your swim lanes and own them. If you try to appeal to everyone, you'll end up blending into the background instead. So focus on becoming an authority in a specific area. So that is very key. Number two, craft a strong personal narrative. So your brand isn't just about what you do. It's about why and how you do it. People connect with stories, so create a compelling personal narrative that makes you memorable. For example, instead of saying, I'm a marketing professional, which is bland and boring, say, I help small businesses scale through high impact digital strategies. My passion for marketing started when I helped a struggling startup grow into $1 million brand. Ready? You have my ears if you start off like that, as opposed to just saying, I'm a marketing professional. So what? There's so many professional marketing expertise people out here. So your story is your brand. Make it unique, engaging, and aligned with your career goals. Number three, Build a strong online presence. Not all of us are very good at this. I have only 3 systems. I post a full-length picture, I post a quote, and sometimes my portrait with a message. But every one of us has their own way to go about this. And in today's digital world, your online presence is your first impression. Many years ago, we didn't care about online presence, but today it's everything. So if someone Googles your name, what do they find? For instance, if you use LinkedIn, keep your profile constantly updated, engage with content, and connect with industry leaders. If you have a personal website or portfolio, showcase your expertise, projects, and achievements. It's very important. Social media depends on what it is. Could be TikTok, which I'm still unable to master. Could be anything, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is you choose platforms that align with your industry and brand identity. Be intentional about how you present yourself online. Your digital footprint should reinforce your expertise and credibility. 4, create and share valuable content. Want to be seen as an expert? Showcase your expertise. Write a blog post or LinkedIn article. And now LinkedIn has made it very easy. You just go onto the site and click article, and it guides you into writing an article. Speak at events or host webinars like I'm doing today. Not a very easy thing, still very nerve-wracking, but it opens doors for you. People get to learn more about you and what you're capable of doing. And this obviously enhances your suitability in areas that would build your brand. Share insights through videos or podcasts. Depends on what kind of person you are, and you are very good at this, then it would elevate you. When you give value to others, you naturally position yourself as an authority. People trust and follow those who consistently provide knowledge and insights. The power of networking. Even the strongest personal brand won't get you far if no one knows about it. Trust me. This is where networking comes in. Your career is not just built on what you know, but on who knows you. Be intentional about networking. Networking isn't about collecting business cards or adding connections on LinkedIn. It's about building real relationships. Identify key people in your industry. These are mentors, leaders, potential collaborators. These are very important people to add every day within your network. Be strategic. Connect with those who align with your career goals. It's important, not the okay. So I guess not everyone mutes their system, but yes, let's continue. Be strategic, connect with those who align with your career goals. This is very important. And lastly, engage with their content. Comment, share, and add value before you ask for anything. Networking isn't just about who you know, it's about who remembers you when opportunities arise. I can tell you for a fact, my boss, and I know he's here amongst the 100 people watching, is very good at LinkedIn connections. He meets you, and the next thing you're connected with him on LinkedIn, and you are engaging on serious issues, and is very impactful in that. Not all of us were gifted in it, but for you to build a brand, it's something you need to start studying and building as a personal brand and a networking tool. Give before you ask. The best networkers offer value first. Before asking for help, think about how you can help others. That is very key. Share an article or insight that might benefit them. Introduce them to someone valuable in your network. For years, I've been known as a connector. If I have an opportunity to introduce you to someone that I think will impact on your journey in your career path, I'll always introduce you, because I feel, why should I be selfish with connections that could build someone else? I also have my path, and I also need connections on my own. So introduce people to valuable networks that will build them in their career path. Support their work by engaging with their content. This is very important. Don't just ignore someone that you look up to, and yet you expect them to support you in your growth. Be there. Support them in their growth. No one has attained or achieved what they consider the ultimate goal in life. I don't think anyone has. So everyone needs assistance one way or the other, and be there for others as much as you expect others to be there for you. That's what I'd say. When you give without expecting anything in return, you build genuine, long-lasting relationships, and that's for real. Follow up and stay in touch. Meeting someone once isn't enough. Real networking happens in follow-ups. Send a quick message after meeting someone to thank them for their time. That's very important. Check in periodically, even when you don't need anything. Sometimes it can sound and feel irritating, but it's very important. At least I always remember the youth that I meet, and they always check up on me and say, "Oh, madam, I was just checking up to say hi." And it's actually puts a smile on my face some days when I wake up. So it's a nice thing. Doesn't mean that you become a stalker, but at least you keep them remembering about you. Keep relationships warm by sharing useful updates or insights. The strongest networks are built over time through consistent, meaningful interactions. Be consistent and authentic. Building a personal brand and network isn't a one-time effort. It's an ongoing process. Stay consistent in how you present yourself and always remain authentic. Don't imitate, innovate. Be inspired by others, but make your brand your own. Don't copy blindly. You can copy. There's no autonomy in ideas, but make sure that in your copying, you also make it your own. Ensure that you brand it so that it suits you, so that it's associated with you, and not just you copy Coca-Cola and it's Coca-Cola. And we all know it's Coca-Cola, but you want to call it Dottie. That doesn't work. Stay stay ethical and professional. Your reputation is your most valuable asset. Protect it. That is very important. There's a Luo, I'm Luo. So there's a Luo saying that goes, you eat with your name. And trust me, you want to maintain a good name in every industry you walk into. Because if your name is soiled, and if people have bad or associate you with evil doings or wrongdoings, no one will want to use you as a brand to elevate them or to walk them through something or to work together with them. So ensure that you stay ethical and professional. It's very key. It sounds neither here nor there, especially within the African continent, in which I actively do a lot of things across the continent, because we are associated with a lot of corruption and wrongdoings, and we think that is the place where we thrive or where others thrive. So why should I be ethical? But at the end of the day, what legacy do you want to leave for yourself? So ethical and professionalism is very key. Keep it in mind, no matter what you do. Adapt and evolve. Branding isn't static, it grows with you. So a powerful personal brand combined with strong networking skills can transform your career, but it doesn't happen by accident. It happens through strategy, consistency, and meaningful connections. So Ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? Start today, own your space, build relationships, and let the world see the best version of you. Thank you. That's a small overview on, of course, this is a very wide topic. And even within the audience here, I can see people who are experts in these two areas of communication skills. And I wouldn't say I'm an expert in these areas, but I would like to give a little story about myself and who I am and why I am here today and speaking to you and telling you all my story. As you've heard, my name is Dorothy Dottie Liech. I go by Dottie. Most of the people who know me refer to me as Dottie, and I like it because it means daughter, and it was a name I got before I got the name Dorothy at 7 years. So my mom thought daughter was a good name for me. And Dottie was a very, I struggled through education. I wasn't the smartest in the room. I had dyslexia, which I didn't know about until when I was much older. But it didn't stop me from wanting to be the best at everything I did. I might not have been an A student, which was a struggle because I come from a family of very high achievers. I've seen my mother on this platform. My mother just became a PhD doctor last December. And you can imagine, if that is the kind of mother that I have, then the rest of the family is insanely competitive in everything we do, whether it's a board game we are playing or just achieving in life skills and all that. And that made it a bit difficult for someone who's struggling to study, to be anything within the family that everyone else was a high achiever. And my father being an electrical engineer, the former city engineer of Nairobi, made it even harder for us to get to that level because everything was a competition and you had to master maths, write a certain way, have a certain handwriting, and it was crazy. But who did I choose to become? I chose to become Dottie. I'm just Dottie. I work at my own pace. And I have amazing, amazing parents because one of the things they do to date is call me, and if you understand Swahili, you know what I mean. They call me Jina Kubwa, which means big name. And my father has always said, whatever you do, you excel at it. And you're always going to be my child with a big name. And that has elevated me to who I am today because it has helped me believe in myself. I didn't do so well in high school or primary school. And it was such a challenge for me because my siblings were A students. But it didn't stop me from being the best. When I went to university and now you had to pick the topic you enjoyed. In my case, I did my first degree in communications and my second in community development. And I was on the dean's list. And that was amazing because, well, I didn't expect that at all because I didn't think I was as smart as my siblings were. So for me, it was such a challenge getting into spaces where I could elevate myself. And since then, I've always looked at myself as a unique being. Not unique that I'm lesser than, but unique that I have superior skills. I convince myself that every morning when I wake up. And for that reason, I've climbed into ranks and spaces and gone into schools that I didn't even think I could. And today, as I sit in Copenhagen as regional director for Africa, that's a huge title to have. And not everyone can get there. There are people I know that were brighter than me in school, but we are not at the same level today, not because I'm better than them, but because I believed in myself a little more than others did. And that is how branding comes in, because how then do you brand yourself? I am unique. I believe in myself. I wake up in the morning and I assure myself that I'm going to win. At the end of the day, whatever little it is that I come across, I'm going to make the most of it. So,
just a few tips.
With that attitude, I am still working at getting to the levels that I want to get to. And I want to be a name that is well recognized within Africa and across the world. Of course, Africa first, because this is home. I have a lot of interest within Africa, but I like it when I sit in spaces where I'm recognized as the only African face. I sit in my boss is here, and he can attest to this. In Denmark, we have something similar to Chamber of Commerce, which is Danish Industries. And within Danish Industries, I am the only Black face on a board with so many Danish white people. And that is an achievement. White people, white men mostly. I am woman and I'm African, and I sit on that board. So I won't talk too much because I know time is just about to run out and we have just a few more minutes to go. But I know that this was meant to be a very interactive session, and I'd like to let Eileen probably come back and let's see if we have a few questions that people would be interested in asking.
All right. Wow, what can I say? Thank you so much for those very, very insightful advice and input.
Your volume is so low, Eileen, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I hope I'm audible enough now. All right, great. So thank you so much for the insights that you've been able to share with us. I believe all of us have been able to grasp something from personal story. And I'd also like to congratulate you for coming this far, for defying all odds and believing in yourself and going after what you want. So I would just like to probably follow up with a question, and this is mostly based on what you shared when it comes to building a strong online presence. And I know many of us are still in a larger percentage of our community are people who are still in campus or just recently graduated. And some of them might still not have like built their presence online or even on LinkedIn. So I would like to ask, like right now, everyone is just talking about LinkedIn. So how can one be able to build their personal brand just beyond posting online? Like what are some of the other ways that someone can be able to build their brand if they're not yet on LinkedIn? Yeah, so that would be my question. And with this, I would just like to open up the floor to anyone else who has a question. Once our speaker's been able to answer this, you can just raise your hand and go ahead and ask your question, or you can type them at the chat session where we'll be keenly following. Okay, Dorothy.
Thank you, Eileen. There are many ways. I think when you're a student, it's even easier to build a personal brand. I think some of my former schoolmates are here, and they know when I was in high school, I was already very enterprising in the sense that, and my mom is here, so I wouldn't say too much, but I already was doing, I held fashion shows in the school, made money. I did quite a number of events, sports events, and all of them were centered at making money. And I was already building my personal brand. I just didn't know it then, but come to think of it, that was actually what I was doing. So I'd say for a student still on campus or university, get involved in campus activities and leadership roles. You don't have to wait to get a job to build a brand. You start from as early as university era or high school era. Join student organizations, clubs, take on leadership roles to gain visibility and credibility, organize events, workshops, or competitions to showcase your skills. These are very important ways of also building yourself. Attend industry events, conferences, and workshops, because I know so many of these international conferences or local conferences held in Nairobi or Kenya or whichever country you may be in are not limited to just corporate attendees. And as a student, you can still be a part of them and create your own network, build your own brand. And it would be very interesting to meet a university student who's already building their name in a certain area of career. Many universities offer free or discounted tickets to professional events, that I know for a fact. Network with industry leaders and professionals in person. And that is, I've met quite a number of students that have kept my number on speed dial, and they're always on my case. Dottie, I need this, I need this help. Can you connect me with this person? And that is another way of creating networking opportunities. There's so many other ways. That's a personal project or portfolio, build your own. As you said, we don't need to use, if you're not using the internet, what other ways? You don't have to be on TikTok, but you could have your own website that just talks about you as Dottie with the things that you're skilled in. I know quite a number, even the person doing our international website today, my organization based in Copenhagen, the gentleman who's built a website and is, activating it and ensuring it's always running up to date, is a student in the University of Nairobi in Kenya. So it doesn't stop you from building yourself. I think it's just important that you have an idea of who you want to be and what your interests are. I can tell you for a fact, if you know Alela, the one that is in Germany today, and the one who actually was awarded by President Uhuru when he was still a university student for building an arm for children who are blind, and to get to learn better and be in the university and be in spaces that they can elevate themselves. He started off as building websites and building portfolios, and he did that for me quite a number of times when I still didn't have a professional platform where I could pay premium for such opportunities. So I don't think there's a limit. And I don't think social media is the only way that we can use to build ourselves. But this is open for brand professionals who are here that could help me to answer these questions. I won't take them up on my own. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you, Dottie, for that. I see questions are now starting to come in. We have one from Isaac Jolios. Wow, Isaac, is that a Kenyan name? Or from?
Yeah, it is a Kenyan name. I just made it up from where I'm from. Kenyan.
All right. Go ahead.
Hey, Dottie, Neodise, Eileen, thanks for arranging for this. We appreciate your all the efforts that you put into this. But just to echo what Dottie said is networking, if you don't know where to go, it all really begins with asking a question. You just have to ask a question, find then you'll be directed with the right direction. But if you keep quiet and wonder how do you start, doing whatever you need to do, then you'll be stuck most likely where you are. So what I wanted to say, really start by asking a question. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you. That is such a high level person in the US Army, and I'm so glad to hear your voice. Thank you so much, Aizo. Odise, and thank you so much for coming on and contributing. That is so, so nice. Thank you. I'm actually very touched.
All right.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Dottie, for your lovely presentation. I'll be very delighted to connect with you. I would like to just add something that is very important. As you brand yourself, it's so important to have your elevator pitch ready. which basically is those few statements that you will make that will captivate someone. And I always say the best, and if you want to know this, just listen to how people introduce themselves. I say there's a lot of humility. What are the common ways we do it in Kenya? Again, respectfully. It begins like this. My name is Albert. I love the Lord and I'm happy to be here. I mean, there's a question people will be asking at the back of their mind. It is so what? You must take me somewhere. If you say your name is Albert and you sell cookies, show me your cookies. So we need to be very deliberate, even as we are branding ourselves, that you take somebody somewhere, and that happens within 30 seconds to 1 minute. I just felt I'll just add that, that bit, because it's so key. You can really people can either be pulled by what you're saying, or they can be repelled. Another thing I'd like to also emphasize, ensure your brand visibility is very consistent. So what I see on your Facebook is what I see on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your TikTok. Don't put Albert the Bull on Facebook, then the Bull on Twitter, and then Albert the Big Head on TikTok. No, you are confusing us. We wonder who you are. So be very consistent. Another thing, get a nice professional photo done. A nice professional photo and have it run across all your socials. And when it comes to content, I also like to add, one of my biggest learnings as I've been building my brand as well, it's not very easy to churn out content. So I think the deliberation now comes, and you need to think of very innovative ways of speaking about what you do. So me, in my case, initially I began by talks and trainings, but now I've evolved. Now I'm writing articles, in the area of wellness. And that's something else I also want to bring in. Remember, a brand is not constant. You must continuously evolve. Yeah, because at some point in time, what you're doing is not enough. So just thought I'll just add those few nuggets here and there that can just help, just highlight and strengthen what has been said. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Albert.
much.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've actually noted them down, and they are very, very powerful insights. Dottie, would you like to make a comment on that, or should we proceed with questions?
Yes. I just wanted to say, Albert, thank you for that, because part of the preparation I had made was to speak on this particular topics, including building an elevator pitch, because this is very crucial in getting us noticed. And as you say, sometimes I also get very flabbergasted when someone says, "Hi, my name is Dottie and I love the Lord." And you're left wondering, okay, so what am I supposed to do with that information? Building an elevator pitch is very important, networking across cultures, aligning personal branding with company culture, the role of mentorship. These are key points that we need to work on as we build our networking and branding opportunities within the career paths that we choose. So thank you very much for picking that out.
I see Elsie. Elsie, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elsie. I'm a brand PR and communications expert, and I help build brands. I love this topic because this is something that I have studied ever since I can remember. One way to remember, or rather a little nugget that I want to leave everybody with, is that one way to describe personal branding is when you walk up to a person and you introduce yourself and you say, "Hi, my name is so-and-so," and you ask them out on a date. That is marketing. Branding is the reason why they'll say yes. your presentation, how you walked up to them. Were you confident? How did you speak to them? How did you approach them? How did you talk to them? So it's always a good analogy to use. Marketing, you walked up to the person and said, hi, my name is so-and-so, and this is what I do, and this is how I can help you. And how they responded or what they saw that made them say yes, that is what branding is. And many people don't realize that at any one time, you're always walking around carrying more than one brand. Dottie today has introduced herself on several fronts. She is the daughter of a PhD doctor. She is the daughter of an engineer. All these are brands that Dottie is representing. So depending on what forum that she is in, she will always, there's always a brand that she will be representing. Is she representing Liech's daughter? Is she representing her boss's, what do you call it? Her position as we currently know it? Is she representing women on boards? Is she representing Africa? So at any one time, it's always a good thing to remember what room you're in and which brand it is that you're representing, because you're more than one brand. I am a Kenyan. I am a daughter. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a brand. Thank you. Very good presentation, Dottie, by the way.
Thank you, Elsie. That's my daughter. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elsie, for that. That's very powerful. Do we have? I'm not seeing any other chat, but I think we have one chat section.
Just
Yes.
hello.
Yes.
Not really a question, but it's really more of a comment. I'd like to get guys' perspective. How can one distinguish their personal brand from that of the organization that they're working for? Because I say this because I've noted sometimes it's very blurry. I'll give you an example. My name is Albert. I'm the HR manager of Google Kenya. But the moment I'm not the HR of Google Kenya, who am I? Or my name is Albert, husband to Mary. So when I'm no longer Mary's husband, who am I?
Is that a question to anybody or just to Dottie or Eileen?
It's open. It's not to anyone
I think
particular.
it's open. I think it's
Yeah.
open, and you can help me answer this, as they say, if you feel you could take it up.
That's a tough one. I'm actually trying to think about it as well.
Okay. I think your personal brand is about who you are, what you stand for, and what you offer, not just your company role. Identify your core strengths, passions, and expertise that make you valuable outside your job. And most importantly, ask yourself, what would I be known for, even if I wasn't in this company? I think that is how best you can then define who you are. Most of the time, I avoid speaking about my role at work, because if I only define myself as African Regional Director for Nordic Global Investments in Copenhagen, then people will only associate me with that. But who am I as Dottie? What do I add to society? What do I bring on the table? And this is why you can talk about different aspects of who you are. I'm a good communicator. I am I'm a great marketer. I have opportunities within my network for elevation of youth in areas of interest. There's so much that I could say. I don't want to, because right now my brain just got foggy. But we have to find ways of speaking about ourselves without really just putting our name and the company that we work for to be the connecting factor. Who are you? What do you have? Anyone else on the group that would want to take up this question as I just try to put my thoughts together? Though
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
yes. So thank you. Thank you.
Hey, I was trying to say, I think if you talk about like what Albert said, like a husband to marry, HR for Google, and I think he said something else. But I'm thinking about, you talk about branding, you also talk about money. In the overall, the big picture, you talk about making money, so, or creating jobs, whatever it is, really comes down to money anyway, in the end, right? So do you want to brand yourself as Albert, the husband to Mary? Are you going to be making money that way? Is it really possible? So think about what brings you what you really want to acquire or to achieve. Is it money, or just like your name to be known out there? So unless it's a charity, and even charities try to market themselves, their brands in their own right. So think about what you really want to achieve as being, how important is Albert, the husband of Mary? How important is it to the public? How is the public going to benefit from that? How are you going to benefit from that? But if you think about making money, then think about what you really want to talk about, what you want to let the people, the masses out there know about. That's my really 2 cents, but I may be wrong, but open to discussions again.
I'd like to add on to that as well. I think where the separation comes in is at the point of self-awareness. And this is something that many people go wrong. They try to mold themselves into whatever role that they're in. I am HR at Google, and that is what you're forever. Every time you meet somebody, you're talking to them and you tell them, I am HR at Google. I think how you introduce yourself, how you present yourself is a way to differentiate yourself. Meaning, you can walk up to somebody and say, hi, my name is Albert. I am a people person and this is what I do. And then finally introduce yourself as Google. Because first, people need to know you, the person, before they know what you do. There's a difference between who you are and what you do. And I think that was also a point where you have to be very self-aware. If you know who you are as a person, then that will play into the introduction. Many people, when they come and say, hi, my name is Elsie and I love the Lord, it's usually because they think that is the polite thing to do, which means they are following a cultural norm that they know about, but they're not necessarily following flying their flag. As Dottie had mentioned, that it's important for you to believe in yourself. And for you to believe in yourself, you have to know yourself and you have to understand yourself. And I think that is something that many people forget to do when they're in the process of branding. They're in such a hurry to market what it is that they do and how they can help people, but they forget that branding requires self-reflection. It requires that you have an identity. Yeah. Somebody has said that, give us an example of an introduction that a person, okay, that includes their, okay. I will give you an introduction of myself without necessarily telling you what my profession is. Hi, my name is Elsie, and I help people create a life that they don't need a holiday from. That is a proposition. So you sell the proposition before you sell what it is, how you do it. How you do it is your work. What you do is what is like the proposition that you're selling. Hi, I help you live a life that you do not need a holiday from. In other words, I help you create work-life balance. How do I do that? I do that through the products that I offer. What products do I offer? I offer you a collaboration cloud platform, which helps you to balance both your work and your personal life. So you see how that plays into it. Yeah, you've introduced the proposition, yeah, my name, then the proposition, and then you get into the how. The hows is now the companies and what the company does and how it can help. I hope that helps.
Hi.
Hi, Eunice.
Hey, I'd like to chime into that. I like the conversation and the way it's going. And so Elsie, I wanted to actually introduce myself the way you've just done it, because it's important that you sometimes give an example of how that was done. So for me, personal branding has two ways: the elevator speech when you're meeting people, and of course the online space So the elevator speech when you're meeting people is how you present yourself. So when you're going to them, how you shake your hands, how you walk into a room, do you command the room or you're shy and things like that. And when you're now talking to people, how do you now say who you are? For instance, just similar to what you've said, Elsie, my name is Eunice. I help businesses and organizations grow and also help individuals grow. So there already you are already bringing some conversation around it. So they'll be like, aha, so tell me more. What do you do in terms of helping businesses grow? So it depends on the audience. Are they interested in the business side or are they interested in the personal side? So that keeps now the conversation going. Instead of coming and saying, my name is Eunice, I'm business executive, I'm in marketing, I'm in business development and all that. That can come later. So I like that. When it comes to the online space, unfortunately, the world is has become very global. So it's important that people know who you are on the online, because I know many a times people Google who is XYZ when you introduce yourself. So it's important that your online space also represent your brand, from LinkedIn to any other platform that you want to be engaging in. Because in most cases, like I said, people will Google and see who are you on TikTok, on whatever. So what you're posting or the content that you post, that is your personal branding. When you post things that are controversial, that is where now people will put you. So if you want to remain as that professional, then you have to be very, very intentional on how you present yourself online. And I like the bit that one of us talked about, the consistency. It's important that you're very consistent across the different online platforms that you are in, including your personal yourself. Fine, take the nice photos, post them, but when you're going for a physical meetup, your online space should also look like you. So how do you present yourself in terms of how you're dressed, how you're speaking, so that the consistently is offline and online. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you, Len. This is lovely. I'm happy I joined this.
Thank you, Eunice. I'm happy to see you here. Okay,
Thank you, Eunice. I
right,
think your insights were very, very, very nice. Just before I'm kicked off, I wanted to chime in to what Elsie and what you say have just mentioned. And yes, Eunice has also talked about it. I don't think, Albert, you asked a very important question, and this is something people really need to think about. Who are you without the company you work for? And half the time, when you think about it, do we know the CEO of Coca-Cola? Do we know the CEO of most of the big brands we know? We do not know them because we don't associate the brand with the name. And this is how they're able to build the brand on its own and also build their own portfolio. So as much as we work on our personal branding, associating it with the organizations we work for or the brands that we're building, we need to find our own personal brand that we can elevate ourselves using without necessarily attaching it to an association. And I think that should be a homework for everyone. When you leave this place, do you have a small or two sentence introduction of yourself? Who are you? Without attaching it to the job you do today or to the brand that you carry in your everyday work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you so much. Apologies, we are 8 minutes past our ending time. So we would like to take this conversation further to our WhatsApp group because we don't want to keep people here. You know, other people have other activities. Some of us are in the workplace and we need to start going home. So let's take this conversation to our WhatsApp group. I know Rehema will share the WhatsApp link here. And it's really been interesting that today we've had a lot of people sharing insights. We are so grateful and also like to have the mentors, the experts who are here being part of our team or being part of our community to just continue mentoring the youth that are here. So please also make sure you're part of us, make sure you're part of our WhatsApp group. So yeah, I think it would be good if we end here. I don't know, Dottie, if you have your final remarks so that you can be able to close.
I would just like to say thank you. I feel like an hour has been very short, and we probably had a lot more to talk about. But I hope that the little nuggets we've given on this platform will help you elevate yourself as a personal brand. Think of yourself first before you think of the organization you're working for. We keep elevating and changing. And I can tell you who I was 10, 20 years ago and what I thought was the ultimate is not what I think today or who I am today. So keep building yourself. There's no end to personal branding. There's no right way for networking, but do it to ensure that you keep building your name as a person, as an individual, because every one of you here is either a student doing their own business, employed, but all in all, you're trying to build a name for yourself as an individual. So work tirelessly at it. And there's nothing that we can't achieve under the sun. So best of luck in everything that you do, everyone. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Dorothy. That is very powerful. There's nothing that you cannot do under the sun. So as we close, I know our patron is here. I'll just invite him to give his remarks, closing remarks. And remember, when we started, I had requested us to put our videos on so that we can take that very nice photo. So yes, we are a few minutes into it. So once our patron is done, I'll just request us to put our videos on. Then we'll take that nice photo for memory purposes. Okay, patron, karibu sana. Walter, are you here?
Sorry, Irene, did you call me?
Yes.
All right.
We are just closing up. We would like you to share your remarks with us.
Thank you. Mine will be very brief. One is to in time to set these very relevant and very well thought out and well researched presentation by my friend Dottie. Dottie, thank you so much for taking your time to join us in this journey of attempting to make a difference in the lives of fellow young people by providing them with relevant and context-relevant, context-specific mentorship and education. Thank you so much. And the team at home, thank you so much for a job well done. For the participants who perhaps have not yet joined the group, I think so that we can have continuous engagement, continuous conversation, kindly join through the WhatsApp group given so that you can be part and parcel of our many impactful engagements, such as the one that we've just had, led by our friend Dottie. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Walter.
Walter.
Thank you. And so before we finally close, I think we'll need to have a petition now that my bosses are here. Would like to have a petition to have our next webinar going for 1.5 hours. So I would like to invite you all to help us with 100 signatures. We just need 100 signatures. Once we have that, our next webinar is going to be 1.5 hours, because you can see we clearly have so many things that we need to learn, but time has really not been on our side today. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, guys.
I went
Awesome.
to take a photo. I went to take a
Yes,
photo.
yes, I'm going to take a photo, and I can see very good students over here. They already put their videos
You want to do
on.
that right away before people leave?
Yes, I am doing that right now. Okay. Let's smile. Let's smile. Hi. Choke. We have 4 slides, so before we start, my one more. So very nice people. Nice. I can see the other videos have not on, but it's still okay. So, yeah, I think I've been able to do that. Thank you so much, guys. You have been an awesome audience, and we really love to have you for our next webinar. We're going to have we will communicate on the next webinar together with the topic. So, yeah. Thank you.